firing back at the United Auto Workers Union after the union's call to shut down one of the largest truck plants in the world.
Last night, the union more than doubled the number of Ford workers on strike after calling on 8,700 members to walk out at Ford's Kentucky truck plant.
We are currently witnessing a tussle between Ford and its workers. The workers are showing the company that they have a say in how they want to be treated and remunerated, and it looks like they are not backing down. Not sadly, this strike is a very bad move for Ford. It is not just costly, but could make the company run down for good. Ford's financial standing is quite disappointing as they continue to record a significant loss. The company reportedly incurred massive losses in 2022 and has recorded worse in 2023. From losing money on EVs to workers demanding pay increases that the company cannot afford, it looks like Ford has finally met its doom. So what is really going on with Ford? Why did workers at the automobile giant go on strike? In this video, we will look at the tussle between Ford and its workers. Since its start in 1903, the Ford Motor Company has been a key player in producing some of the most iconic cars. The American automotive industry has consistently adapted to the evolving world around it. Rather than catering to aristocrats who already owned luxury motor carriages, Henry Ford adopted a different approach. He targeted an overlooked demographic, blue-collar working individuals who were unaware of their need for cars. Sadly, this might be the end of Henry Ford's vision. The United Auto Workers Union, UAW, has started a strike against the three major automakers in the United States, including Ford, Stellantis, and General Motors. This is very massive, as it marks the first time that all three legacy automakers in the U.S. have simultaneously engaged in a strike. The UAW's approach to this strike is extremely strategic. An aspect that demonstrates the savvy execution of this strike is the way the union targeted three specific facilities belonging to these automakers. These facilities include the Wentzville Assembly Plant in Missouri, the Toledo Assembly Plant in Ohio, and the Michigan Assembly Plant in Wayne, Michigan. These plants manufacture various automobiles, such as GM's mid-size truck and full-size van in Wentzville, Ford's Ranger mid-size pickup and Bronco SUV in Wayne, and Stellantis' Jeep plant in Toledo, Ohio. Now, these particular plants are not producing the entire range of cars for these automakers. These automakers manufacture numerous vehicles across various plants. Now, what makes it interesting is that these specific facilities solely focus on producing high-margin, high-volume products. This strike action alone can cause the company to record an immediate loss exceeding $5 billion. The United Auto Workers Union, representing nearly 150,000 employees in the U.S. auto industry, initiated labor negotiations in mid-July 2023 with Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis as their employment contracts were set to expire on September 14, 2023. UAW presented a proposal to Ford which included a 46% wage hike. This proposal consisted of an immediate 20% wage increase, followed by 4 consecutive annual 5% wage hikes, defined benefit pensions for all workers, a 32-hour work week, and additional cost of living adjustments. In contrast, Ford offered a modest 9% wage increase year over year until 2027. This is significantly short of the union's demands. The UAW issued a warning, indicating their intention to go on strike against any automaker that failed to reach a new agreement by the impending contract expiration date just days away. Under the new leadership of Shawn Fain, the UAW has adopted a more assertive stance, frequently condemning corporate greed. Fain has expressed a willingness to resort to a strike if necessary, and the UAW boasts a substantial strike fund exceeding $825 million. The new leadership of the union is striving to distance itself from the cozy relationship with the big three automakers that has historically resulted in major concessions. Additionally, they're advocating for equal pay for EV workers, who presently earn considerably less than their counterparts in fossil fuel vehicle production. Ford is making considerable efforts to prevent a strike by the UAW. Discussions between Ford and the UAW took place at Ford's headquarters in Dearborn. In response to the situation, Ford presented an improved contract proposal that addressed aspects such as wages and bonuses. The initial offer from Ford included a 5% raise in the first year, along with bonuses for both permanent and temporary workers. However, UAW President Shawn Fain expressed dissatisfaction. The negotiators from both sides have been diligently working, with sessions extending from early morning to late at night. Key figures, including UAW Vice President Chuck Browning and Ford executives such as Ford CEO Jim Farley and Executive Chair Bill Ford, have actively participated in the discussions. Ford distinguishes itself from other companies like General Motors and Stellantis by maintaining production within the U.S. Ford produces their F-Series trucks domestically and enjoys substantial sales in the country. Ford aims to demonstrate its commitment to its workforce by offering temporary workers full-time positions, and they are actively promoting this through TV ads. Additionally, Ford is making substantial investments in building electric vehicles, EVs, to transition from conventional engines and achieve cost savings. Now, it looks like Ford cannot afford to fulfill UAW's demands, as its counteroffer fell significantly short of the UAW's demands, notably lacking a cap on temporary workers and providing inferior healthcare benefits for this segment. In response, Ford has argued that they already offer these workers higher compensation than foreign companies like Honda. A report by CNBC indicated that this strike could cost $5 billion in just a few weeks. The targeted companies, including Ford, might collectively have to pay over $8 billion if negotiations take a turn for the worse. Last year, the company made a profit of $10 billion. This year, the company anticipated to make a profit of about $11 to $12 billion. Now, let me say that these figures are pre-strike, and the strike's impact is not factored into these projections. Now, with all that has been going on with the company holds approximately $40 billion in cash, encompassing both available funds and credit lines. Sadly, they've had a long-term debt of around $95 billion. This only means one thing: Ford's long-term debt is twice the amount of their available cash. The CEO, Farley, explained that providing a 40% salary increase to their workforce, specifically at the factory line, would result in zero profits and eventually lead to the company's bankruptcy. If the desired wage hikes by the UAW were to be granted, the companies could lose all profits. Given the company's financial challenges, paying off debts becomes critical. With the current financial constraints, liquidating available cash still leaves outstanding debts, forcing the company to resort to asset liquidation. This involves selling plants and shutting down factories, which reduces sales and increases the potential for more losses. If Ford agrees to a 40% or even a 35% raise, this would significantly impact the company's ability to turn a profit in the future. Consequently, Ford would be compelled to make drastic cuts in areas that would benefit no one. In the long run, it could potentially affect their capacity to transition into EVs, as this sector currently represents a substantial financial loss for them. This situation could force them into making undesired cuts, a scenario they'd prefer to avoid. The challenge lies in the competition posed by Tesla. This purely electric vehicle company is non-unionized and isn't closing down its factories. Instead, Tesla's expanding its operations, introducing new models such as a pickup truck and a $25,000 compact car within the next year or two. Ford already expected to incur a substantial loss of $4.5 billion on its EV business, known as Model E, for the year 2023, an increase from its initial estimate of $3 billion. This projection highlights the considerable journey ahead for Ford to attain profitability with its electric cars, despite positioning them as the company's future. Ford's initial plan was to produce 600,000 EVs annually by the end of 2023, a deadline already pushed to 2024. Now, with all that is happening, no one knows when it will be able to meet this goal of manufacturing 2 million EVs annually by 2026. The critical point here is that given Ford's financial struggles, the strike's outcome and a UAW victory could potentially lead to Ford's existence being at stake. Despite these setbacks, Ford is not a company known for easily giving up. Its history is rich with instances of innovation and resilience. Reports suggest that the company is making significant investments in research and development to revamp its prospects in the EV market. Additionally, they are exploring partnerships and collaborations as a strategy to offset losses and expedite the development of EVs that cater to market demands. However, this hinges on whether people are genuinely interested in purchasing electric cars, which, let's admit, is not the case for the majority. Ford is actively demonstrating its concern for its workforce by offering temporary workers full-time positions. We can see this through its recent TV ads. The company's making substantial investments in building EVs to achieve cost savings compared to traditional engines. Recently, Unifor, the Canadian union representing Ford workers, reached a tentative deal with Ford, preventing a strike that could have affected critical Ford products. This agreement coincides with ongoing labor strikes in the U.S. led by the United Auto Workers UAW. Both unions share similar concerns, primarily related to wages, benefits, and job security amid the transition to electric vehicles. Despite these efforts, the UAW strike has persisted for a couple of days, involving 12,700 workers demanding higher pay and the elimination of a two-tiered pay system. The strike has caused disruptions in production, and the UAW has warned of extending it if their demands are not met. So, what do you think Ford should do? Let us know in the comments below. While you're at it, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching.